What's up guys, it's Tommy here and welcome to a very exciting Liverpool transfer news video where we will talk about the young Ajax centre-back, a big future talent who played very well yesterday against Liverpool, because the 442 and many other various newspapers are reporting that Liverpool are in talks with Ajax over a transfer for Schuurs, who is likened to Matthijs de Ligt, who went on to become a world-class centre-back playing for Juventus. And Schuurs, his price could be around 30 million euros, which is around 27 million pounds. Let me know in the comments below, do you think that would be a good deal for Liverpool? Do you think Schuurs would be a great transfer to make for Liverpool in the January transfer window? Because Liverpool have been hit incredibly hard with injuries, especially to the defense. Trent Alexander-Arnold, Joe Gomez and Virgil van Dijk are all out. Van Dijk and Gomez for long-term injuries. And yes, we have Matip and Fabinho, but Fabinho is a midfielder brought back into the defense, and Matip can't play 2 games every week. He needs to be rested because he's still very injury prone. And because Jurgen Klopp sold Dejan Lovren and didn't replace him, now it's almost certain that Liverpool will sign a new centre-back in the January transfer window. So guys, if you enjoy these Liverpool transfer news updates, leave a like and let me know in the comments below, do you think Schuurs would be the best candidate for Liverpool to strengthen their defense in the January transfer window? And Corriere dello Sport are reporting, they are a credible Italian newspaper, that Liverpool have already opened discussions with Ajax, and the newspaper is reporting that actually Liverpool have tabled a 27 million pound bid for Schuurs on Ajax's table. He's 21 years old and he was a backup player last season at Ajax, but it shows how deep Ajax's youth academy is, that and how many young players they are bringing through, that this season they are now really excelling in the Champions League. They only narrowly lost to Liverpool in both games, and both games could have gone the other way if Liverpool didn't defend so well. And Schuurs impressed in both games, but especially in the game at Anfield, where he stopped Sadio Mane time and again. And I didn't see a young defender like Schuurs come up against a world-class player like Sadio Mane. And normally Mane just brushes past defenders with his pace, with his strength. But Schuurs actually won more battles against Mane than he lost. So he came out on top in the overall individual battle with Sadio Mane. And you have to take it into account that Sadio Mane is a very established world-class winger, one of the best wingers of the Premier League. And Schuurs stopped him actually many times in the encounter between Liverpool and Ajax. And Liverpool, according to the report, would prefer to sign a young defender who can serve the club not just for this next 6 months to 2 years, but in the long-term future. And Schuurs could be that guy, and he hopefully is not as injury prone as Joe Gomez or Joao Matip, and he can come in and really strengthen Liverpool's defense. And I want to share with you guys football and scouting writer Josh Williams, and this is what he said about Schuurs. There are certain links with players that you can immediately rule out because of how Liverpool recruit, but this link to Schuurs was not one of those. I did think there could be something in it, and Schuurs coped fairly well with Sadio Mane, which is easier said than done, given Mane is a complete player, world-class player. But there are certain things that the Liverpool defender needs. Above everything else, they need to display a degree of dominance in various phases of the game. They have to be aerial dominant, and Pep Juniors have spoke about that in the past, because Liverpool are a pressing team, and of course the opposition against Liverpool tend to play longer passes against Liverpool, so you have to have defenders who are very good in the air. Despite being 6 foot 3, Schuurs is not very good in the air according to the numbers. This season he has improved a little bit. In the Eredivisie and in the Champions League, he's currently posing an aerial duel success rate of 60%. That is not still particularly high. Last season in the Premier League, Joao Matip, although he didn't play too frequently, posted 83%. Virgil van Dijk played every game and he posted about 73%. Joe Gomez around 64%. So Schuurs is not too far away from Joe Gomez. But he's 6'3", and for him to pose only 60% areas dual success rate is a little bit of a surprise. Schuurs did cope with Mane, so he demonstrated that he can cope with world-class players 1v1. He's not the quickest, but he wasn't slow enough against Liverpool for that to show up, and he's very good on the ball with things like long passes. He ticks some boxes without ticking all of the boxes, but Liverpool are really good at spending according to the squad void in terms of the value that the player will add. For example, Kostas Tsimikas was brought in on a very specific budget, and Takumi Minamino was a rotation option for the squad, and the player who would play sporadic minutes for a cost of just £7 million. Liverpool tend to spend according to what that place in the squad is worth, and what a third choice centre defender is worth, or fourth choice possibly. 30 million euros would be the absolute maximum, and that's exactly what Liverpool bid right now to Ajax. So I think this is very credible, and this is I hope that this proves enough insight for you guys to judge where Per Schuurs stands compared to Liverpool's current centre-back options. He would be at best third choice centre-back, but now with Van Dijk and Gomez out, we could rotate Matip with Per Schuurs a little bit, and also Fabinho, because both Matip and Fabinho were already out injured this season, so we don't want to, and we can't play them every single game. And yes, Nathaniel Phillips and Reece Williams have come in and sometimes played, and they played well actually, but do you really want to trust them long term to become world class? I don't think they have it in them, but I could be wrong. And Per Schuurs was asked what he thinks about Liverpool's interest in him, and he said, interest from Liverpool in me? I'm not busy with that. I want to win trophies with Ajax first and stay here for a couple of seasons, and then we will see what happens. So Per Schuurs of course won't speculate or won't comment on direct links linking him to Liverpool, but he says that in the future anything can happen, and I think that every young player in world football would love to sign for Liverpool, and Liverpool have a very good reputation in the Netherlands. There are many Liverpool fans there, I'm sure. So if Per Schuurs is seriously considered by Liverpool, I don't think he would say no. And Liverpool was anyway looking for a centre-back. I think we would have preferred to sign a centre-back next summer, but because of these injuries, we just need to bring that transfer forward by 6 months. And Rafael van der Vaart, who previously played for Ajax and then Tottenham, suggested that Per Schuurs still needs to improve before he considers leaving Ajax. He's being punished internationally, but in the Netherlands you can get away with it. He says he has developed well, but he has to get better very quickly in the Champions League. He's just not ready for that yet. I mean, this interview was taken before the Liverpool-Ajax game, and I think against the Liverpool, Per Schuurs actually looked ready. As I said, he got the better of Sadio Mane on many occasions, and yes, sometimes he made a little bit of mistakes, but he's just 21 years old, and for that age group, I think he's one of the outstanding centre-back in world and European football actually. And I have some very spectacular great news for you guys. 2,000 fans will be welcomed back to Anfield for the first time since lockdown in March in the Liverpool Wolves game, and those 2,000 fans will be spread all throughout the stadium in a social distancing way. And James Pearce said this: banners and flags are being removed from the Kop in preparation for Sunday. There will be 1,500 fans on the Kop for the visit of Wolves, and he can't wait. The other 500 fans will be in the main stand. Let's hope that the Liverpool-Ajax game was the last ever game played in an empty Anfield. Yeah, it needs to go well, and hopefully the numbers will keep going down, and hopefully the vaccine can help in the long run, because yeah, we don't really want to see football games played behind closed doors. So let's hope that it goes well in Liverpool, and hopefully Liverpool can host fans, more and more fans, as the time progresses. And Gary Neville made a very interesting argument on Monday Night Football, which I don't agree with, but I want to share his opinion, and I also want to give you mine, but I also want to hear what your opinion is on this, because Gary Neville said that Jurgen Klopp's argument on fatigue and scheduling is flawed, and he's just looking for a psychological edge for Liverpool, like Sir Alex Ferguson did back in the day when Gary Neville was playing for Man United. The biggest risk to Jurgen Klopp winning the league again this season is another big injury or two. So he wants to try and gain that advantage, to put some psychological thing into people's minds. Sir Alex Ferguson did it for 15 or 16 years when I was at Man United. I don't think Jurgen Klopp's got a point around fatigue, around the length of time of pre-season or about the Saturday kickoffs. Gary Neville continued, my view is that when you become a winning manager, and this is where Sir Alex got to and why they called him a whining so-and-so for many years, the best managers, they just want to win. The biggest risk to Klopp is injuries. And I don't agree that there is not a factor about shorter preseason and about playing Wednesday and then Saturday lunchtime kickoffs. Gary Neville didn't explain the reason why there are 30% more muscle injuries this season than in any other season in previous Premier League seasons. The reason is he can't explain it because he's not a sports scientist, but it's pretty evident that there is a strong correlation, strong link between, a shorter preseason, more games in a shorter period of time, not necessarily more games in the Premier League, but more games in total for the players, because now international breaks, you have 3 games in international breaks, and already we had 3 international breaks in the first 4 months of the season, which is absolutely ridiculous in the middle of the pandemic. And then Liverpool players, some of them had to play every 3 days. Just check Andy Robertson, how many times he played. He played 90 minutes every international break, every game for Scotland, sometimes even 120 minutes, and then he has to play almost every game against Liverpool. The last time he missed the game was, I think, when we played Lincoln in the League Cup, which was in September, and since then he played every game for Liverpool. So it's absolutely ridiculous that Gary Neville thinks that there is no issue with the scheduling and with the shorter preseason. How can there be not an issue when there was just 2 weeks break and a 3-week preseason, where normally it's a 6-week break and a 7 or 8 week preseason? So it's obviously shorter. But let's hear what he has to say. Jurgen Klopp has been the best manager in interviews for the last few years. He has been the best manager on the pitch. He's connected with the fans better than anybody else. His style of football is fantastic. But on Saturday, he got done in an interview, and that's very rare. He didn't get his story right. He hasn't got his evidence to back him up either in games played or in the Saturday kickoff slots. He just lost this particular one, having been brilliant in all his other interviews that he has done. He's trying to gain an advantage to get results. That's it. I played for a manager in Sir Alex Ferguson, and there's hundreds of interviews Sir Alex has done where he complained about fixture scheduling. Every single game he wanted that advantage. He wanted the ability to recover more, to play at different times. So it suited Manchester United, and that's what Jurgen Klopp wants now to suit Liverpool. But that's where Gary Neville is wrong, because Jurgen Klopp wants the best for all football players. He time and time again said that this is not about just Liverpool. This is about all football players. Who does it benefit when approaching the Euros, half of the world-class European nations that are favorites for the Euros, half of their squad will be out injured with muscle injuries, because that's where we are heading with so many games played. But that's my argument. Gary Neville said, what Jurgen Klopp has done at Liverpool over the last 3 years is unbelievable, but his squad this season is just wilting a little bit under the fact that they have had that 3 years of relentless performance. There might be an element of COVID and sports science, but the rest time has been there. The games are not coming thicker and faster than any other season. The Saturday kickoffs are not coming thicker and faster than any other season. So the exceptional points Klopp is making haven't happened. How can he say that when already 5 players got COVID for Liverpool this season, and also there are 3 games now during international breaks, not 2. That's also more games, and also the season started in September, not in August, and the Liverpool players were still playing at the beginning of August. So how can Gary Neville say that? I will never know. I think he just wants to put more pressure on Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp because he obviously is a Manchester United fan still. Neville said, I don't think it's an exceptional season. It's exceptional in that the players have had more rest than they have ever had before. They had 3 months of rest from March until June. They then played 9 matches where Jurgen Klopp played all his best players even when they had won the league. And then they had 5 weeks off up to the Community Shield. But that 3 months of rest from March, that's not rest when you have to sit inside and train every day still, because every week the Premier League could restart. How can you say that's a proper rest? That's not rest, honestly. The players had to be in absolute top condition possible, and they couldn't really take their mind off things during the start of this pandemic, so that's not rest, both mentally and physically. I don't agree. Gary Neville also said, in any season I ever played in World Cup or European Championships, I only ever got 3 or 4 weeks of holiday anyway. There's more rest this year than in any year in football history. I don't get this idea that it's a unique season. The fans aren't in the stadiums, the feeling's not there for the players. I've looked at the history of 12 p.m. kickoffs from about 2002, when this fixture became something of a thing where the Premier League decided they were going to try to attack the Asian market. It's been very successful for the Premier League, and the riches of the Premier League is down to this ability to play games at lunchtime on Saturday and early on Sunday. What Jurgen Klopp is talking about is an 18-year-old problem. Liverpool this season have played 2 games in that slot. The maximum they can play this season is 6. That's the maximum amount of times you can be in that slot. I don't think Jurgen Klopp has got what I would believe to be a major gripe about being disadvantaged against other teams that play in that slot in any other season. If you are successful and you are Liverpool, Manchester United, Chelsea, they want to watch you over in Asia, and the overseas broadcasters will pay for that. It's been the same for 18 years. I then started to think about the volume of games Liverpool have played, and thinking they have played a lot of games in the last few years. They have been successful in the Champions League, gone all the way with Man City in the league. If you look at the days per game again through history, at the moment they are playing every 5.4 days. If you look again at the most successful teams who have had European campaigns, whether it be the Europa League or Champions League, going all the way back to Man United in 98-99 season. Again, Liverpool are not disadvantaged. The players Liverpool have got this season with bigger squads are being asked to play a game every 5.4 days. The maximum Liverpool can play this season is 60 games if they go the whole way in every competition, which is every 4.5 days. I mean, that's still brutal in my opinion. And Jamie Carragher, I really like this, that Jamie Carragher hits back at Gary Neville saying, as a season you cannot deny it's not different. How can you say it's a normal season? You've got COVID everywhere. You talk about the players being off for 3 months, but no one knew when the season was going to start. The players weren't off, they were training and they were mentally and physically focused. Let's not forget this argument started with Schuurs after playing in Istanbul on Wednesday and playing at Everton on Saturday lunchtime. He came out and said, I think the authorities wants us to fail. I looked at that and thought, no, I don't agree. We are in TV and we understand the slots and where people have got to go. I'm the same way with Jurgen and the 12:30 kickoff. Everybody wants Liverpool and Manchester United on. Jurgen Klopp argued, full Schuurs, you are talking like Liverpool haven't got an excuse or a reason, or they shouldn't moan about this. I think the manager of Liverpool is sincere in not just thinking about Liverpool. I really do believe that. And that's exactly what I said as well, that Jurgen Klopp is not just talking about Liverpool, but about other managers and other players and other football clubs as well. Everybody would benefit from the 5 substitutions. Everybody would benefit if after a Wednesday that you played in the Champions League, you're not playing Saturday lunchtime. I think that should be a rule in the Premier League. But the broadcasters don't care about the health of the players. They just want to generate as much revenue for their company as possible. And that's what I think. Let me know what is your opinion in the comments below. And thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed this. Have a nice day. See you later. Goodbye.